Have you ever laid in bed at night, completely exhausted, but your mind simply refused to shut off? You're replaying a conversation from 3 days ago, worrying about a meeting that hasn't happened yet, wondering what someone meant by a look they gave you. And before you know it, it's 3 a.m., and you've solved absolutely nothing. You've just suffered. That is overthinking. And if that sounds like your every night, your every morning, your every quiet moment, then this video is exactly where you need to be right now. This is not just a self-help topic. This is about reclaiming your mind, your peace, and your life from a pattern that has been stealing from you every single day. If you've ever felt like your brain has a mind of its own, like it just won't stop no matter how tired you are, stay with me until the very end. What you're about to hear might be the most important thing you've listened to in a long time. I promise you, by the time this is over, you will walk away with real tools, not just empty motivation. There was a girl named Sara, 26 years old, good job, wonderful family, friends who loved her. From the outside, her life looked completely fine. But every night, the moment she was alone, something would shift. She'd lie in bed and the thoughts would begin. Did I say something awkward in that meeting? Is my relationship actually okay, or am I just telling myself that? And one thought would lead to another, like a thread you keep pulling until the whole sweater unravels. By morning, she wasn't rested. She was wrecked. Not because anything bad had actually happened, but because her mind had spent the entire night creating problems that didn't exist. Sara once told me, I don't want to think this much, but the harder I try to stop, the louder it gets. In psychology, this pattern is called rumination. It is the process where your brain gets stuck on a thought or fear and keeps circling it over and over without ever reaching any resolution or relief. Thinking itself is not the enemy. Planning, reflecting, problem solving, all of that is healthy. The problem begins the moment your thinking stops producing anything useful and starts producing only anxiety. Research has shown that people who chronically overthink have a hyperactive amygdala, the brain's fear center, meaning their brain is stuck in a constant state of alarm, even when there is no real threat anywhere near them. This constant internal alarm doesn't stay in your head. It spills into everything. Your sleep deteriorates because your mind won't quiet at night. Your relationships suffer because you're always reading too deeply into what people say. Your work performance drops because you can't focus when your brain is running 17 tabs at once. Studies have directly linked chronic overthinking to increased rates of depression, anxiety disorders, and even physical health problems. This is not a personality quirk. This is a pattern with real consequences, and it deserves a real solution. So where does it come from? The first root is the desperate need for control. When life feels uncertain, the mind tries to compensate by thinking through every possible scenario. It feels like preparation, but it is really just anxiety wearing a disguise. The second root is past hurt. If you've been burned before, your mind goes into protective mode, constantly scanning for danger so you never get hurt like that again. The third root is perfectionism, the buried belief that one mistake will define you completely, making every decision feel enormous. And the fourth root is self-doubt. When you don't trust your own judgment, the thinking never feels finished. There's always one more angle to worry about. Now, let's talk about what actually works. The first technique is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding method. The moment you feel the spiral beginning, stop and look around. Name 5 things you can see, touch 4 things near you, listen for 3 sounds, notice 2 things you can smell, find 1 thing you can taste. This forces your nervous system back into the present moment, and when you are genuinely present, the overthinking loop cannot sustain itself. This is not a trick. It is used extensively in cognitive behavioral therapy and has been proven effective in clinical settings around the world. The second technique is called the worry window. Choose a specific time each day, maybe 30 minutes in the early evening, and declare that your official worry time. When an anxious thought shows up during your day, simply tell it. Not now, 6 o'clock. Then at 6, you actually sit with whatever was bothering you. What you'll find is that many worries dissolve before they even reach their scheduled time. Research has shown this technique meaningfully reduces both the frequency and emotional intensity of overthinking over time. The third technique is the "is this solvable" and filter. Every time a thought demands your attention, ask yourself, is this something I can actually control right now? If yes, stop thinking and start acting, because action is the antidote to anxiety. If no, give yourself permission to release it. Thinking about things outside your control is not problem solving. It is suffering voluntarily. This filter alone, applied consistently, can dramatically reduce the mental noise you carry through each day. The fourth technique is journaling. Like when you write your thoughts down, you activate the prefrontal cortex, the rational part of your brain that goes offline during anxious spiraling. Writing shifts you from being inside the storm to being able to observe it. Just 5 minutes each night, no rules, no format, no judgment. Whatever is in your head goes on the page. You will be surprised at how much lighter you feel after, as if you've set down something heavy you were carrying completely alone. The fifth technique is physical movement, and I cannot overstate how powerful this is. When you exercise, even just a 30-minute walk, your body releases built-up cortisol and floods your brain with endorphins and dopamine. The mental fog lifts, the spiral slows. Multiple studies have shown that regular moderate exercise is as effective as medication for mild to moderate anxiety, and one of its most consistent benefits is a significant reduction in overthinking. The next time your mind won't stop, do not sit with it. Get up and move. The sixth technique is worst-case scenario diffusion. Instead of running from your worst fear, walk toward it on paper. Write it out. Follow the thought all the way to its conclusion. If the worst happens, then what? And then what? When you fully map out the thing you're most afraid of, one of two things happens. Either you realize the fear isn't as catastrophic as your mind made it feel, or you realize you are actually capable of surviving it. It is the uncertainty hiding in the shadows that has the most power over you. When you drag it into the light, it shrinks. The seventh technique is self-compassion. And this is the foundation everything else is built on. So much of overthinking is driven by an inner voice that is genuinely cruel, constantly telling you that you are not enough, that you will fail, that you're one mistake away from everything falling apart. You don't fight the voice by arguing with it. You respond to it the way you would respond to a close friend who is suffering, with warmth and without judgment. Dr. Kristen Neff's research has shown that people who practice self-compassion consistently experience lower anxiety, lower overthinking, and significantly higher emotional resilience. Overthinking will not vanish completely, and that is actually okay. The goal is not to become someone who never thinks deeply. The goal is to become the one in charge, to be able to look at a thought when it arrives and decide whether it deserves your energy, instead of every thought automatically having unlimited access to your peace. That is a skill, and skills are built through patience and repetition. Sara did this work. 3 months later, she told me, "I still think a lot, but now I know when to stop." And having that choice, feeling like my mind is mine again, that is a freedom I didn't know existed. If you have made it to this moment, something in you chose to be here. Something in you is done with the exhaustion, done with lying awake at 3 a.m. fighting your own thoughts. You deserve rest. You deserve to actually live inside your own life instead of spending it trapped inside your own head. The path forward is not instant, but it is real, and it starts with exactly what you did today. You showed up, you chose to understand, and that matters more than you know. If this video added something to your life, please like it and share it with someone who needs to hear this, because you never know who in your circle is fighting this battle silently. Subscribe to this channel and hit the bell so you never miss a video, because every week we go deep on mental health, emotional healing, anxiety, and everything in between. I'll see you in the next one, and until then, please be gentle with yourself.